Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios are up to their old tricks. They are introducing an original character who is a female Elven Smith. Are we getting another girl boss? It's highly likely. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Also, hit that like button so we beat the YouTube algorithm and more people will see this video. Joining me to discuss this new revelation, this new character, is my good friend Jonathan Watson, Tolkien lore expert. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.
So, I know you've seen this already, but we got this report here from Polygon that they got the exclusive from Amazon MGM Studios that they will be introducing an original Elven female Smith character named Mardia in the Rings of Power Season 2. This is what Polygon reported, that the character is portrayed by actress Amelia Kenworthy. You can see that's a picture of her right there, what this character will look like. And the character is described as a, quote, protege of master craftsman Celebrimbor. In the show, her loyalty will be tested when an unexpected visitor arrives in a region with the potential to alter the destiny of the Elven Smiths forever. Did I pronounce that right? Is it a region or a region?
A region with
a region.
A hard G.
Thank you. So what do you make of this? Obviously, that's all the information we have so far. Might learn a little bit more with San Diego Comic-Con happening and then promoting it later today. But what do you make of this?
Oh, well, I think she was Tolkien's favorite character in the really unfinished Tales book that he never actually published. It's just,
it's one of those characters where Tolkien didn't speak, so they decided to speak for him, right?
Because he was silent about it, she totally exists. Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, this is what I've said a bunch of times: is I'm not against them adding stuff as long as it fits within the story. But when they change stuff by adding stuff or by removing stuff or whatever, that's what really starts bothering me. And they've changed so much already. We're completely beyond the pale. So will she probably be the girl boss who figures everything out? I mean, Celebrimbor couldn't even figure out how to make an alloy metal in the last season, right? He was like, oh, you have to coax it together, and so he's
this guy who's supposed to be a legendary master smith who's trying to challenge Feanor, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be the best Elven Smith since Feanor, right? And Feanor's his grandfather. Feanor is the guy who created the Silmarils. For all you guys, that's essentially what destroyed Middle Earth, and at the end of the first age is this lust for Silmarils, and destroyed anyway all these characters, death, destruction, loss from what this Elven Smith Feanor created. So Celebrimbor is trying to be as good as Feanor. Not a volcano. But here's the thing about her, right? It is called an Elven Brotherhood. So okay, fine, there's a girl in there, but if she becomes the primary mover and shaker who realizes who Anatar really is, because obviously Celebrimbor doesn't recognize the same guy who he met last season in this season, even though they don't even change his face at all. But here's the real thing, and I mentioned this right before we got on, is that her name is Mirdaina, and the name, right? Am I pronouncing Mirdaina? Is that right? I want to make sure I get this right. Yes, Mirdaina, Mirdania. And of course, the name of the Elven Brotherhood of Smiths is the Gwaith Myrdain. So clearly, either they're getting rid of right there. Either they're getting rid of the Smiths completely and putting her into place because they don't need a bunch of old white guys, apparently, or old elf guys, in order to actually make the rings. They'll just need her. So they're just giving her the name, or she's going to be the leader of it, and they take the name from her. That's what it really seems like. And I wish. I mean, I go right away to where it's like I always think like I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll make a good decision this time. Nah, like when they say go back to the books, all they mean is they're going to lift something from the books, and like I said in a video a couple weeks back, they just kind of throw it into this sloppy stew that they spill out on the table in front of you, and none of it actually works well together, or tastes good, or looks good. It's just pulled from the book because the name is similar. And that's what they're doing here. Mirdaina, Gwaith Myrdain. So I have any hopes that this is going to be anything near what Tolkien wrote? Of course not. There's no chance. I mean, in the article, you go through so much of what it's supposed to happen. And it nowhere near resembles what they've already done. So I'm sure, when something diverges from the original path, it's far easier to continue to get lost once you're off the path, and that's what they're doing. They're so far afield that it's going to resemble Tolkien even less and less as we move forward.
Yeah, and we know that they're already way off field because they created the 3 Elven rings before they created anything else, and Sauron was involved in the creation of the 3 Elven rings, something he was actually not involved in Tolkien's Legendarium. And Tolkien specifically explains that's why he doesn't really have like the One Ring doesn't have like the power over those rings as it does over the others. Yeah, it's just ridiculous because those ones were supposed to be separated out. They were for the elves alone. And he writes that very clearly in the Silmarillion too.
Yeah, he doesn't. There is a reason for creating the rings in the order that they were created, and it was because the elves understood that Sauron was trying to influence the rings, right? And they realized that he was putting his power in them, so they created the other 3 rings in secret, and they were made in order to, like, the red ring, the Aryan ring, the Narya ring was sorry, that was a quote from Rachel Maddow. It was made to essentially inspire people, right? It wasn't made to control people. It was made to make them rise up and fight the evil around them. But here the rings are apparently made in order to preserve or get rid of the nothing that's taking over Middle Earth. Call back there to the Neverending Story, but yeah, it's it doesn't resemble it. And so when you mess around with the timeline, they have completely again messed around with the timeline. The Gwaithir Myrdain, I believe, started around the year 700 of the Second Age, so somewhere around there, which is hundreds of years. Well, no, it's right before the Númenóreans reach Middle Earth again in the Second Age. And it's 300 years, 250, 300 years before Barad-dûr is created. And it's 750 years before the rings were created, which is about 1500 of the Second Age. So all these things, they just pound it all together into a few weeks of time, because they said, well, we can't make this timeline longer and bigger. When I think it would have been far much better to spread it out and make it seem massive and huge and earth-shattering. But they kind of squash it all together into this sloppy mix of nothingness that nobody can follow with clarity. And they had it all laid out, right? And they can't do it. And they had it all laid out. They have the Gwaithir Myrdain laid out. They could have introduced that in season 1 to show, like, oh, there's something going on here. These elves already have power. And if they wanted to show it as an effective use, show Sauron as an effective manipulator, show these Gwaithir Myrdain already having this sort of amazing ability to craft glorious elvish artifacts, right? Give them some sort of power already. Then their corruption makes a whole lot more sense and is far more damning of them, and makes Sauron far more powerful than simply some guy who wants Galadriel. So they had the chance.
It would also show how they're kind of following in his image too, Sauron's image, because we didn't even get this in any of the Rings of Power. Sauron actually has like good intentions, right? He wants to rebuild Middle Earth because he does kind of like care for it. He sees all the destruction, death, but his sin is he refuses to obey and return to was it Valinor? I think he stays in Middle Earth, wants to rebuild it. Obviously, is kind of seeded with this envy, this jealousy, all of this stuff, and he then decides to go after the elves, and he sees that they kind of have these same good intentions, and he uses them to kind of corrupt them and follow in his image, and he gets them to follow in his way.
Yeah.
And Tolkien's clear about this right here. Right here he says, now Celebrimbor was not corrupted in heart or faith, but had accepted Sauron as what he posed to be. Obviously, that's Anatar, the giver of gifts. And when at length he discovered the existence of the One Ring, he revolted against Sauron and went to Lornad to take counsel once more with Galadriel. So we're not even going to get any of this stuff. None of these things are even present because we don't even get that with Sauron in the first season, unless they're somehow going to magically make this appear in the second season. But as you said, they're so far
No,
off
it's
kilter, they really can't do that anymore.
Let's remember, like these people who write this, it's the story isn't as important as the message, and so to name her Mridania is far more important than the actual story. And so saying like, no, we don't need a brotherhood, we just need her. That's why, because like it's like a broken record, right? You can't have any powerful males in any of these shows anymore, and it's very disappointing. I mean, the only thing we're getting is what, Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Two powerful males are going to make up for everybody else. But here it's like, oh, come on, really? Like, you had it all laid out for you. Everything was there. You had the entire story, and then you just keep screwing it up. You keep pulling in new areas that don't have any business being in the location you are. So I don't know how to hold out any hope for them correcting this here. It will be even worse than season 1. I'm pretty confident. And this is just example number 1.
So what do you expect that this character, Mridania, her role will be in the show? You've kind of been touching on it, but obviously here they say that her loyalty will be tested when an unexpected visitor arrives in Eregion with the potential to alter the destiny of the Elven Smiths forever. So what are your actual expectations? What are your predictions for what role this character will play here?
I think we can be pretty confident that she will be more insightful than Celebrimbor. She'll probably be a better smith than Celebrimbor. Like, he's threatened by her, that she can do things even better than him. And so in order to show how good he really is, he'll probably start help crafting the other rings of power, or even think about, maybe we should have a big one ring because she's bigger and better and has the ability to be stronger than him. And since
you think that she'll actually give the idea of the one ring to Sauron?
No. I think Celebrimbor will. I think that she'll be fighting against. I think that he'll be like, okay, we need something really powerful in order to stop this destruction of Middle Earth from the tendrils of venom coming into the trees or whatever. Right? That's what it looks like. So yeah, I think she will come across as stronger and or as a threat, I guess, to Celebrimbor's ability as a smith. She will exhibit capabilities greater than his.
Okay, that's definitely not what I had. I had I had a couple other ideas. I think that she'll actually like kind of take the place of Celebrimbor. Whereas, like, so if you actually go through the Legendarium, we just kind of went over it there a little bit. Celebrimbor does actually notice that that Sauron is who he is, realizes what's happening, and he then goes to like seek aid to try and fight back. Obviously, it's a little bit too late. He ends up dying defending the rings, and being tortured and then executed. And then I think they like don't they put him on like a flag and carry him around in battle too? So I don't think that they're going to do that to her, but I think she will be the one who kind of realizes, oh, it's actually Sauron, and she's the one who's going to be tested. She'll be the one that stays with the elves. I think she'll kind of maybe take that. Or my other idea was that she will take the role of Galadriel, as how Tolkien actually wrote her, where she's actually the one who is opposing Sauron in Eregion before he is able to eventually manipulate the Smiths to run her out.
So she'll see through his disguise before Galadriel will.
Possibly. So even though Galadriel kind of already has now, though, right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
But she might not know. She might not know Anatar though, because of the new look.
Right? He's got a wig and glasses. Yeah. No, not glasses. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So you're saying, I mean, in a way, I'm saying she'll be better than Celebrimbor. You're saying she'll be better than Galadriel, even like she'll take a step even higher. So we're on the same page that there's a little Mary Sue-ness to her. I mean, that either we have been so jaded that this is all we can see, because there's no way that she will be learning under Celebrimbor. That's like one thing. Like I think she's already going to be very, very, very powerful as a smith, and they will probably show
a protege. They're describing her as a protege.
Right. I mean, he could have more than one protege, but she will be the protege. Right. She'll be the one that is there to threaten Celebrimbor's abilities as a smith, because she shows how she can do it better than the rest of the brotherhood, siblinghood. I don't know what to call it then. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she's going to be better. Like whatever it is, she's going to show herself as having more insight, having more capabilities, And I think that, I think the idea that it'll be a threat to Celebrimbor is real. And again, this is all just speculation. I have nothing to back this up other than watching the entire first season and seeing what's come out so far. But if their pattern holds true, it'll be something like that.
Now, I will say the one thing that I could see that would be a positive, I think would stay true to what Tolkien's saying, being very charitable here. I don't think that they're going to do this, but I could see her and because she shouldn't even be there at all. It should be a male, in my opinion. Tolkien's very clear. It is a brotherhood. He says that, but she could be someone that Sauron manipulates to kind of run Galadriel out when she's kind of opposing him there in Eregion. She might be that person where how he's be able to manipulate the guild to kind of move her out of the way, as allowed to the guild to fortify its political holdings there in Eregion, and Galadriel's kind of rebuffed and has to leave for Lornad.
Yeah, I could. I doubt it, but I could.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's the most. That's like a charitable version, the version that you would think that they would do if they were actually following it, even though they're still introducing a woman, and it should be a man, in my opinion. But that's if they wanted to at least stay true to the spirit of Tolkien's story. That's how I could envision that happening. But
they did say they are listening to. They did say they are listening to the fans, John. So maybe they were listening to us when we were talking about it earlier.
Well, those are the fans who continued watching, not the 60% plus that decided to drop out and not finish the show.
That's a good point. They only listened to the ones that actually watched the last one, which is all three of them were really loved the show.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan, thank you for joining me. Always love having you on the channel. Love having your insight into Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. Always great having you. I am definitely. It's weird. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to see just how bad it's going to be. But it's also mixed with that foreboding. It's how bad is it going to be? That's kind of
right. It's like driving down the highway and you see the smoke from an accident and you're like, whoa, that's going to be kind of cool. And then you actually drive by and like, that looks that's horrible. I can't believe that's where we are.
For the people involved and everything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. You see it coming, you're kind of excited, but then when you actually see it, you're just sort of disgusted and appalled by it. Yeah.
I also see it as an opportunity to educate myself, obviously learning more about Tolkien and everything, what his themes were, what his visions were, and then sharing that with other people and be like, this is why this is absolutely terrible, because Tolkien explains it here. So I do see it. I do relish that opportunity as well, because I think a lot of people they don't know a lot of this stuff, and when they see it and they see how much better it was, they're just like, wow, what have they done? What have they done to my boy? It's that Godfather meme, right?
Yeah, you don't want
massacred my boy.
My boy. You don't want them actually thinking this is what Tolkien wrote, so we have to keep correcting them and going, no, this isn't it. This is what they had a story and they just gave it up. They just didn't care. So this is not what Tolkien wrote. Don't be so jaded by that. Please read the originals. Go to the original stuff. It's so much better.
It is indeed. And they can also get the real stuff from you at is it still the One Ring?
It's the OneRing.com. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can also go to Exploring.
You've rebranded to Exploring Tolkien on the website.
I do. So our podcast is Exploring Tolkien. So all you have to do is remember Exploring Tolkien. Look for that on a search engine. Look for that in YouTube. Look for that in your podcast app, and you will find all of our podcasts, our YouTube channel, and everything like that. And you can also find everything at theonering.com. But yeah, we've had that domain for 25 years. And we'll probably keep it for now, but we might switch to Exploring Tolkien. We'll see. But just look for Exploring Tolkien. Thanks for having me, John.
And you will be having a live stream later today as well?
We're not going to live stream it. What we're going to do is we're going to be reviewing the new trailer for the Rings of Power without having seen it at all. Michael and I, and if I can still sway you over, John, we'll try and get you on too. But yeah, we're going to all watch it for the first time without having watched it at all and give you our live reaction, our instant reaction to that.
I will definitely be looking forward to that, and I hope I will be able to join you as well. I'm planning to. So look for that. That will be on your channel, theonering.com. So again, thank you for joining us, and look forward to having you back again as we get closer to Rings of Power Season 2 coming out.
Take care. See ya.